Someone's asking, what evidence is there for long COVID? Could it just be hypochondria?
No, it's not just hypochondria. The pattern is pretty much what we say is syndromic. There's a clear syndrome of long COVID, fatigue and other symptoms, but it's not just fatigue, it's other symptoms as well, which really creates a very specific pattern for long COVID, as opposed to, say, chronic fatigue syndrome or a chronic pain syndrome or some other thing like that. And that they're not hypochondria either, but they are more, I'll get killed for saying this, psychosomatic, which was really what I mean there is that it's essentially you've got a symptom where something has created that symptom in your brain, and the brain has clicked through neurologically to get a sense of fatigue, not a sense of, a very real feeling of fatigue, a very real feeling of pain. But long COVID is a much more highly defined syndrome, and increasingly it's being associated with abnormalities in the immune system.
So we kind of mentioned long COVID in passing just now, and we need to clarify some things. So on Friday, we were talking about long COVID, and it was a part of our Quickfire Friday section, and we were ripping through these questions. And Norman, you made some comments that some people have queried and are asking for some clarification on. And the thing you said was that long COVID has a particular is a highly defined syndrome, and things like chronic fatigue syndrome you use the word psychosomatic, and you said that there wasn't so much of a pattern to that disease. And that seems to fly in the face of definitions by the WHO, the CDC in the US, the UK body, and even Australia's National Health and Medical Research Council.
So let's separate this out. And so what happens when you've had a viral infection is, and Ian Hickey's done research of this, and we'll put a reference up about that, is that when you have a viral infection, the post-viral fatigue that you get is very well defined. So it's a very well-defined syndrome. And it goes to a whole pattern of different viruses. So there's one pattern there. So long COVID is a syndrome in its own right, which is quite similar in some ways to other post-viral conditions. What people call ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis, other people call chronic fatigue syndrome, is a different syndrome. So if I said to people, it's less well-defined, it's actually not true. It's well-defined and it's real in terms of the symptoms that people get. And it's a very wide range of symptoms. So you get a foggy fatigue, you get muscle aches and pains, but it's a very different, much more widespread physiological disorder, which nobody has been able to find consistent abnormalities for. And I can understand completely why people think, anybody that says it's in your mind, they get really, really angry that this is some sort of psychological condition. It's a very physical condition in the same way as pain is a condition, itch and other symptoms and so on. It's just that no one's been able to find a consistent problem. Some people find particular immune abnormalities, some people find problems in the brain and so on. But when these are repeated, it's just not consistent. And it's tragic for the people who've got it, because it is such a physical phenomenon. But it's a very different syndrome from long COVID.
It sounds like both are really debilitating conditions, and it's great to see that these are being taken seriously.
Absolutely. And very real, no question about that. So it's not imaginary in any shape or form. Neither is. They're both well-defined syndromes.